Hey everyone, this is KYT, and I've missed you guys. It's been a minute. I've moved into this house 2 months ago, but it's taken a long time to unpack everything and to set up this room, which is still pretty much empty, but I'm back. For this first video, I figured I'd do something easy and fun and go through this article, Desert Island ETF Picks, where they had panelists each pick a fund they'd leave in their portfolios if they were stranded somewhere and unable to touch their investment. Cool note that I know two of the panelists, one of them in real life. And if you're not new to the channel, of course, you know that my Desert Island pick is obviously XEQT. So why don't we just check how it's doing in my daughter's RESP quickly. So my cute daughter that I'm absolutely obsessed with, so much so that my wife is jealous, just turned 2. And so after 2 years, if we check out her RESP, which is held in Questrade, is up a total of close to 18%. Which, in my opinion, is pretty darn good. Now, if you're new to the channel and wonder why XEQT, I have a ton of videos on the subject, but just quickly here, I invest in XEQT because I believe in global diversification. I believe in the concept of EMH, efficient market hypothesis, because many studies suggest that you should invest in that way. So definitely look into global diversification and EMH. Now back to this piece, there's a lot of interesting choices and we're not going to go dive too deeply, but what's going to be interesting is I think I'm going to track all of these choices and see how they do in the next 1, 2, 3, 5, and 10 years. Let's start off with Tony Dong that likes aerospace and defense. He says he's personally long defense and is in XAD. That's his pick. Alec Yeo, the person I know in real life, selects the semiconductor ETF SOXX lately on Blossom and social media, different other social media platforms. I've seen a lot of hype because there's AI hype, there's semiconductor hype, and we'll see if semiconductor is a sector that lives up to the hype in the next 5 years, because here Gio says the CHIPS Act in the US will give it a boost that should last at least 5 more years. So we'll see about that, what that means for stock returns. Here, Travis recommends the SPYX, which is the fossil fuel reserves free for people that don't want fossil fuels in their portfolio. Mark McGrath, someone I talk to a lot on Twitter, works with PWL Capital and naturally has a maybe exactly the same philosophy as me. So that's why we see XEQT. Amon here is an XRE, a REIT index. We have XGD, gold. So a lot of different asset classes as their set and forget ETF that these people are picking. Michelle Robertson picks Bitcoin. Of course, no list can be complete without some mention of crypto these days. It's interesting what she says here, though, that Bitcoin has historically offered high returns and high risk, but also has no correlation to the equities market, which I'm not sure I agree with. Like, from what I remember, and I was in Bitcoin myself, I had up to 3 during a certain period of time. And I thought the correlation to the NASDAQ was pretty strong. And after like researching it a bit, I think it was after COVID, it really correlated with the downturn. And there was some strong, because it's kind of like tech, it attracts the same type of person. So I just did some research on NASDAQ.com. The head of options content as NASDAQ, Kevin, noted the long-running correlation between Bitcoin and NDX is 0.085. That's fairly high, but there are occasions when that linkage breaks down. So very interesting to see here that she thinks there's no correlation at all, therefore offering diversification. I don't have a strong opinion on crypto. I know some people have 5%, no opinion whether you should invest in it or not. But I do think like people need to be careful, because a lot of times people look back and say it gives high returns for its and justifies its volatility, but you're really looking at a new asset class historically, and it's hard to tell what the expected return and the volatility of this asset is moving forward now that the ETF was introduced recently and things like that. So just be a little careful, but if you're in it, you're in it. We got VQT, HEQT, which is very similar. And then we got 2 people at the end that want to focus on NASDAQ. I'm going to stop this video here because AI is here. And this one says, I think this pick has done pretty well in the past and will continue as long as you're on that island. If one is stuck on an island for years or decades, technology will always play a central role in advancing economic growth. So like I said, we're going to look at all these ETFs and see how they perform in the future. I'll obviously add VFV to the mix because it's one of the most popular ETF, if not the most popular ETF. And I'm excited to see what happens. And we'll do a video every year. After skimming that list, it does remind me that newcomers often don't realize that the market is forward-looking. It's not enough to just realize or bet on the right industry that will be the next hype thing, because the market probably already thinks it's the next hype thing. So to outperform the market, you have to choose something that the market doesn't already know. And that's why advice like just put your money in the best companies or companies whose products you use is just way too simplistic, because it ignores how market prices work. Like this racetrack definitely would pick the horse on the left if prices were equal and prices weren't affected by other market participants, but they are, which would mean that the analogy here, not perfect, would be the horse on the left would be much more expensive, and the percentage return between these two moving forward would be hard to tell. I did want to end with this. Recently on Blossom, there was discussion that I entered about how some people think global indexing is too slow. And I want any newcomers that are new to the space, when they see other new investors have really strong results in their first 6 months of investing, to not be caught up in that, to not feel like the market is really easy to beat, or as easy as some of these people proclaim it to be, like they're crushing XEQT by 10% so far, etc. Because to sort of give a more sobering take, if you will, we're not that far removed from Cathie Wood being the most famous investor on earth, because she had exceptional results. She had two of the best years. If you scroll down the ARK website, in 2019, that's a 35.23% return, and 2020, 152.52% return. Things I'm probably not going to see that often by a retail investor. Not impossible though, and this is what you're going to get when you have a concentrated portfolio of, according to the site, 35 to 55 holdings. But as shown in studies, it's hard to beat the market consistently, and she's failed to do so the following 3 years. And if we look at the chart, she now lags behind XEQT since XEQT's inception. But this isn't to say that she won't come back. She could easily spike up due to the volatile nature of her ETF. But this just goes to show, if you have insanely good results early, it does not mean that they will persist. So just keep those expectations in check, and of course, good luck. And with this photo, I'll see you in the next one.